Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about how to prepare a book for art journaling. Preparing a book for art journaling is super duper simple if you do it the right way. Let's get started. The materials you're going to need are an old book. This book is Tom Sawyer. The most practical binding for the book would be a sewn spine, but I couldn't find any around my house that had that particular binding, so we're just going to go with the glued one for now. You're also going to want some gesso. This gesso in particular is from Walmart. It is by the brand Daler-Rowney. I could be saying that wrong, I'm not really sure. And it's just called acrylic gesso. It was relatively cheap and it does the job, so it's perfect. You're also going to want some form of glue. I'm going to be using Mod Podge just because it's very liquidy and easy to use. If you don't have Mod Podge, you can also just use some plain Elmer's glue that you can get basically anywhere. You're also obviously going to want a paintbrush. This is my well-used and abused paintbrush. It's from like Target or something, and it just works for using gesso and Mod Podge because I can abuse it. Just look at how abused this thing is. There's so much paint in it. So you're going to want to start off by ripping out some pages in the book. And before you start freaking out, this is essential for the process because if you don't rip out any pages, your binding will most likely break from having so much weight in your book, and you just don't want that to happen. I usually just rip out a couple random pages, but because this book has a bunch of pictures, I'm just going to rip out the pages that don't have any pictures on them. Now, as you may be able to tell, I did not rip out the entire page, like starting at the binding. I did leave a little bit so that the binding wouldn't break down, and because of the lack of pages. I did rip out quite a few pages from this book, but it's okay because I can use these for collage and other journals and such. So this is my thinned out book. Now we have lots of room to add paint, gesso, to glue pages together. You could just take a dry brush and paint the Mod Podge onto the paper, but I decided that it would be better if you take water, just mix a little bit in with the Mod Podge, so it's a little bit of a decoupage consistency. So now you can start gluing 2 pages together at a time with your Mod Podge and water decoupage. If you come across a place where you ripped out a page and you can't glue the pages together because this side's already glued, you can just take a bit of masking tape like this and tape it down over it. This works perfectly because you can gesso over it later and it will just blend in with the page. You want to make sure you smooth out your pages so there's no wrinkles whatsoever that will cause your paint to go funky on the page. So for the sake of this video, I'm not going to glue every single page in here, but I did a good portion in the front of it. Oopsies. So I think that's okay just for the sake of this video. So what we're going to do next is take our acrylic gesso or any gesso that you have. If you don't have gesso, you can either skip this step or use white paint if you really want to cover the words up. Gesso will just add a little bit of tooth to your page and strengthen them. You can think of gesso like a primer for when you paint your walls so that the walls have a nice surface to paint on. I'm actually going to leave this page blank and most of the pictures, but all of the pages that have text on them I will cover up. And you're just going to want to take your gesso, your paintbrush, and just paint all over the pages. Gesso can usually dry pretty quickly, around, I would say, 2 or 3 minutes to get it pretty dry where you can flip the page. You can either continue gessoing the rest of these after this one is dry, or you could paint on this one, you know, do whatever you wanted to do in the page, and then gesso the rest of them. It's up to you. This is a different journal I've been working on. It was originally the book A Little Princess. I used sandpaper to really distress the cover, and it made it look old and stuff. I used lots of acrylic paint in bright, vibrant colors and used just my finger to kind of swirl them around, blend them a little, and I just had a sticker here. It's a floral one, as you can see. Whoops. I haven't really done much in this journal, but I thought I'd just show you this page here. I just added some watercolor, some pinks and purples here, and some washi tape. I did gesso on some of these pages here. And yeah, so that was it for this video. Just a quick little tutorial on how to prepare your book for art journaling. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I will try and post videos weekly. And yeah, bye guys.